Oh, we are back in Warband? Yes, this is not Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, as you probably guessed, because I've not played Mount & Blade Warband properly, really, in about a year. Probably longer than about a year. Year after Bannerlord released, I sort of hopped onto Warband to see the multiplayer and stuff and do a few events, but really, in terms of single player, I haven't really played Warband in at least a year. Properly, I would say in a couple years in terms of the single player, just because, like, towards the end of its life and towards the release of Bannerlord, I just didn't really feel the want or any reason to play Warband, really. I remember last time I was doing this opening level in a video, and I said, who actually loses to this guy? And then I got killed by him. And there were a lot of comments saying that they had lost to him as well. I'm sure he's a deadly opponent. He's pretty good. So here we are in the world, and Jesus Christ. Thing is, everyone always said that Warband had terrible graphics, but because it was really at the time when I first started playing on a laptop, one of the only games that I could run properly and at decent settings, I thought it looked alright, but looking back at it, Jesus Christ, the graphics are horrendously bad. But this is the map, and I'm going to overlay on screen an actual comparison between Warband and Bannerlord's map, and the size is insane what they've done with it. See over here, really, you've got sort of the Valandian and the Western Empire sort of area, and even when, like, here, this is really... in Bannerlord, this is not really that Saranidy area. The Aserai are even further down than you'd expect, and the Kurgits who came from the Khuzaits are way further east in Bannerlord. And I guess that sort of just shows how they migrated over and they all came together. Okay, yeah, it physically just because the game is smaller, so they had to cram everything together, but in a lore sense, the Khuzaits, the Aserai, and the Sturgians sort of started migrating towards inland, and everyone sort of ended up in the same place, and the empires weren't as big, I guess. And you know what? In terms of actual early gameplay in the two games, I actually prefer Bannerlord's, just due to the fact that there's more to do when it comes to recruiting, especially soldiers, because obviously when you go to a village, it gives you the option. I mean, for example, if we go here and we say recruit, it just says 6 Swadian recruits volunteer to join you, and you recruit them, and that's that. And then, obviously, if you go into your party, then you've got your Swadian recruits. But in Bannerlord, it gave us that option to see what troops we were recruiting and choose who we wanted to join our party in a much more realistic way as how it would work in real life. And also, the relation that you have with that village changes, and it changes who you can recruit from it, which I think is just a much more in-depth and nice way of doing it. But let's go back and let's do our first looter battle with my Swadian recruits. Of course, whenever you're playing Mount & Blade Warband, you have to play as either the Swadians or the Nords. That was just how it works. That's just what you do. Get a load of Swadian knights and you can just charge everybody and destroy them all. You know what's really weird? I've been playing this and I've been like expecting the little icons of troops to come up. You know, like in Bannerlord when you select like follow me or something and it shows the little markers to show where the troops are going, or the flag, and there's nothing. And I'm finding it really strange. Like, if I click hold position, how do I know exactly where they're holding? Yeah, I can do the backspace thing and then I can get them, and then I can sort of like get them to follow me, and I can sort of get them to be around there. But oh my word, it's so strange. I did not mean to do that. Go on, lads, charge in there. I do have to say, you can definitely feel the similarities when actual sword swings. There's a mod for Bannerlord that actually changes how the sword swings impact, and it feels a lot more heavy. And whilst Bannerlord does great jobs for making the weapons themselves feel heavier in terms of the long run, but when you're actually hitting someone and your sword is going through an object, it feels quite light. And you can tell that with Warband, and it is the same in Bannerlord, and the mod is there to help change that. And I think it is a good mod that you should probably go and check out. I think it's called like Impact mod or something. Looking at the village set, look how sparse it was. You sort of take for granted the amount of detail and effort that's been put into Bannerlord just wandering around villages. You can go so far, and in Warband it was so small. You never realised that when you were first playing. It actually felt quite big. I remember when you were doing the hunting for the nervous man, it felt like you had to search the whole village, and there was quite a lot to search, but really, the maps in Warband are tiny. Like, you can see it finishes just there. That's out of the map, because you can see the textures get a lot lower, and just over there as well with those 3 trees next to each other. They're tiny map, but they did a fantastic job of making them feel big. One thing that I feel like Bannerlord doesn't do quite as well as Warband is the night battles. I feel like not just me, but everyone has an issue with night battles in Bannerlord. Like, I especially when I'm hunting down bandits, will sometimes just wait a little bit longer before I attack, just so I don't have to do a night battle, because they're so dark. And I think that is down to the enhanced graphical fidelity in the game. But in Warband, because obviously there are no graphics really to speak of, the night battles feel much lighter. Also, can I just say, the kill feed is so much better in Warband. You can tell instantly at a glance if your man has been killed, injured, or they've got to kill themselves. It's done by color coding, and that's something that Bannerlord really ruined, I think. Granted, a bit prettier. Having a tiny skull icon, whether it's red or white, indicates whether they've been killed or they've been wounded, and I think that's something quite important that you need to know. If your guys are being wounded, you can probably get away with holding out for a bit longer before retreating than if all your guys are being killed. But you can't tell just from a glance in Bannerlord. Yet you can in Warband, and I think that's something they did a lot better. Also, look at the resolution of those stars. Jesus Christ. I just realized that I had the battle size on 71 troops. I put it to 150, which is the max without modding at the moment. I mean, still, 71 troops. That was all we had. That was all we had. 150 was the max. Now I think 1,000 is the max, and that's without modding. I think with mod you can actually push it. I think the enhanced battle mod you can push it to 2,000, which I did in my one Roman for every video uploaded to this channel. So you should go and check out that video if you haven't already. Oh, it's still trying to find out where my actual troops are when I'm trying to get them to hold position. It's so confusing without the markers. I've been so used to it with Bannerlord. It's not that nice at all. All right, come on, lads. Let's get in there then. Let's couch lance. Couch lancing much better in Warband. Just automatically do it when you get up to speed. That's how it should be, really. Need to watch out that they don't slaughter our infantry. They should be fine. As long as I help out. Couch lance damage. Beautiful. Oh, I've been stopped. I've been stopped. My infantry does seem to be killing their cavalry, though, because they've been so slowed down. And this is one thing that I do think Bannerlord has done in terms of balance. It's so much more balanced, especially on realistic difficulties, etc. Because, I mean, let's be honest, there's no balance in Warband at all. Oh, here come the cavalry, quite literally. More coming. I think I've got some Swadian knights here. I don't know which one of the Swadian knights, but they should be here. Oh, there's a Swadian knight at the back. Saving the villagers from the bandits. Couch lance in your eye. You get couch lanced in your eye. Oh god. No, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I think, especially in terms of cavalry, the way that they move and the weight of them was greatly improved in the Bannerlord game, since in Warband you can bash into people, but they sort of like stumble backwards, and then they just sort of stumble and you slow down a bit. In Bannerlord, though, you hit someone at full speed, they go flying. They go absolutely flying. You can even just kill them, straight out kill them. Full speed with a cavalry charge, and I think is brilliant. I don't know. I think the problem is, so many people look at Warband with nostalgia glasses, with these rose-tinted spectacles, that Warband was the perfect game. I even said it when I joined, looking at the graphics now, looking at some of the combat and how it really played, especially the combat, because that was so famed in Warband, but playing it now, it wasn't that good. Being glitch hit so often, being able to just spam and feint everywhere, it's fun, but I don't think it's a really viable combat system, at least these days, compared to what other games have come up with. And I think if you look at it that way, if you look at Mount & Blade with a more objective lens, Bannerlord is the better game, no matter what you think, because even though Warband has all these mods and everything, you have to compare the vanilla games, and as a vanilla game, Bannerlord pretty much improves on everything. There are a couple things here and there that I think Warband did a bit better, but I think Tellers did their job. They made a game that is similar but better in nearly every way that it needs to be. And I was in the same boat. I was in that boat of, oh, it's just Warband but more. But I don't think that's such a bad thing, because Warband was a great game. It still is a great game, but I think Bannerlord is better. I think it improves on it, and I think if you go back and play it now without those rose-tinted spectacles, you'll notice how Bannerlord has improved on some things. UI changes, just quality of life things when you're trying to command troops. It's so much easier and so much better. And I mean that. Sieges are terrible in Bannerlord, don't get me wrong, but they're not as bad as they were in Warband. Let's be honest. Yes, okay, in the early days of Bannerlord, your men would just stay at the bottom of ladders and stuff, and they wouldn't go up, and you could hardly take out siege towers, but this is ridiculous. If we look back at it, it is ridiculous on how they thought it was acceptable to make sieges. One ladder going up onto the wall, and you've just got to squeeze your way up, and you're going to get knocked off. You're just going to get knocked off. It's just a fact of life. Also, not having things like siege weaponry or bits of wall or gate. You can't break the gates in Warband. There are some that you can, but the main gates, you can't knock them down. Oh, Jesus. I just got stabbed in midair. There's so many coming up there. That is terrifying. But all in all, obviously, they're both great games. One of my favorite game franchises ever. But I do think coming back and look at it, it was a good idea. It's given me a better outlook on actual what they did in Bannerlord, what they changed. It's not the most obvious and game-changing things, but I don't think it needed to be. The small changes that they put in and the small improvements that they made for their sequel made all the difference. And I think it's why Bannerlord is a better game. So thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below on what you think. Have you been back to play Warband recently? And if so, how do you think it holds up? Do you still think it's much better than Bannerlord? And if so, why? Or do you actually agree with me and think that Bannerlord actually has done some brilliant things that Warband just never had? And going back, it feels kind of dated and clunky, if I'm going to be honest. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Please leave a like on the video. It helps more than you could ever know. But until then, I will see you in the next one.